check? Yeah.
UK Fact Check. I've been running that since I was 17.
Wow, oh my God, okay.
Yeah, don't really have an office, so...
You're mobile. Yeah.
Home Secretary, you're proclaiming a 15-minute police attendance target for serious incidents as a major reform, yet the crimes you keep citing, shoplifting, theft and robbery, are often over in seconds. Additionally, a 15-minute response time may look good on paper, but if you take, for example, the Met and the West Yorkshire Police, they both already report lower response times. Mm-hmm. Given this, why are you setting such an unambitious target?
Well, look, I think it's important that we have targets within our policing system, and under the Conservative Party, the whole way of managing the police and holding them accountable completely changed. A lot of that was devolved away to police and crime commissioners, which I think has been a failed experiment. I think it is important that in this country we're able to hold our police to account, and that we know that there's a high quality of service wherever you are in the country. So I think I've started with these targets on 999 responses, answering the phone within 10 seconds, and on response times for high priority incidents being 15 minutes in urban areas and 20 minutes in rural areas. You're quite right that in some parts of the country these are already being met, but they're not being met everywhere, and they're not being met everywhere consistently. So the point of having targets, and we will start with these, but they will change over time as well. But the point is that every force will have to meet these targets. And so all citizens, wherever you are in the country, should be able to have a basic standard that you know will always be met, and that you won't be punished for living in the wrong part of the country.
So what you're saying is that you're trying to even out the response time across the country?
Yeah, I think it's really important. Look, the policing is a really important public service, right? Mm-hmm. And we all rely on it. These are the people that keep us safe in our communities. And there is great work happening in different forces across the country, but there are problems as well. And I think it's right that the Home Secretary, you know, when things aren't working, people look to me and say, well, what are you doing about it? And at the moment, the system we have, the system that's developed over 14 years of the Tories being in charge, you know, it doesn't give the Home Secretary the powers they need to really run that system effectively. And what I care about is having a police service that we can all be proud of, that we know we can rely on, and that we know we're going to get a consistently high standard of service no matter where we are in the country, and that you can go after the crimes that occur in our communities, like shop theft, like phone theft, antisocial behaviour. You can handle that. You can handle the big investigations like murder and rape, but you can also go after international criminals, terrorists, fraudsters, serious organised crime. Like, the police service has to be able to do all of these different types of jobs and go after very different and very variable types of crime. And the reforms I've introduced are designed to make sure that wherever you are, you get the right policing in the right place.
Home Secretary, you claim that Police.AI will save 6 million hours and that the automation can do the work of nearly 10 officers for the cost of zero. Firstly, can you name the companies and the AI models you are using to power Police.AI? State clearly whether this is an in-house system or a private provider, such as Palantir. Could you guarantee that the data and the model outputs are never used to train commercial AI? And finally, will you share plans to publish independently audited error rates, including whether the AI returns any hallucinations, other inaccuracies, and if the AI is disproportionately targets ethnic minority backgrounds?
So I really recognise that some people have concerns about the use of AI and technology. I think it's got a great potential to help improve what we term police productivity. What does that really mean? It means that officers spend less time on file work, on paperwork analysis, and more time doing the things that only a human can do. So I think there are big gains to be made from using AI and technology in that way, and I think it will save police officer time. Of course, it's right that it has to happen within a really robust framework. We will be absolutely transparent about what we're doing, who's involved, and the standards that they are all being held to. So I can reassure everybody that as we roll out these reforms, as we bring the standards for data and for technology adoption across the police service into the new National Police Service, that model will make sure these things are done in a way that is consistent across the country, but not just consistent for the way that it's used, but for the way that it's held to account as well. So it is important to me that we have all of that in place. I think in the end we'll end up with what we might term a mixed economy. So there'll be some in-house work that is done at official level within Home Office and within policing authorities, authorities, and some of it will be private providers. I think all of these things, as long as they're done with robust safeguards, and of course, as long as private data is protected, I think that's a good thing. But we have strong legal frameworks on privacy and on data. When I sign warrants that authorise policing activity and the activity of our intelligence services every single day, I hold that to a legal standard. It's checked by a judicial commissioner as well. Like in this country, we already have a very robust legal framework, and I will keep that same ethos in mind as we roll out Police.AI.
So would you agree to independent audits to check like error rates and inaccuracies?
Well, look, we are designing this new system as we speak, but of course, as I've said in the white paper, transparency is incredibly important to us, and we will see that as we roll out these reforms.
Okay, thank you. And lastly, you're selling this as a value for money policing, centralising procurement and IT to save approximately £350 million, yet you're simultaneously building a national enforcement and surveillance infrastructure. With the rise of Reform UK and them polling very strongly and openly pledging to leave the European Convention of Human Rights and repealing the Human Rights Act, will you put statutory limits and independent authorisations into law now so that these tools cannot be used discriminatory or in ways that may deliberately target ethnic minority communities in a disproportionate way now or in the future?
Well, look, I'm from an ethnic minority community myself, so these issues, cut home for me. They're very personal to me, and also the constituency I represent is majority non-white, and so I do hear from my own constituents concerns in this area. But what I would say is, we do have a strong legal framework, and we will always have safeguards. We're currently consulting on the proper safeguards for the use of live facial recognition. It's always going to be important whenever we have new tech that can, bring huge benefits, that is regulated in a way that strikes the right balance between, utilising that tech for the betterment of everyone, for keeping everyone safe, but also so that it doesn't stray too far into people's individual freedoms. In the end, the best safeguard for these, you talk about other political parties and who might be in charge in the future. We can't guess today what's going to happen 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. We can only do what we can in the time that we're in government to set the right legal frameworks. It's for the public ultimately to decide if they want to support a party that's going to change that. And in the end, the best check and balance on any system, yes, you can have judges both here in international courts as well, but the best check and balance is what the public will and will not tolerate. And my view is that the British people, fundamentally very decent, minded, fair-minded people with a huge dose of good old British common sense, and in the end, that is the thing I think that keeps today's politicians and future politicians in check.
I think the public's main concerns with this is that various human rights organisations, including like Amnesty International, have said that the Met's plans to use, so this is a quote from Amnesty International from August 2025, they said that the use of it is dangerous and discriminatory tool of surveillance and should be scrapped immediately, as facial recognition technology has been proven repeatedly to be discriminatory against communities of colour, and this will further enrich racism. So I think that from like communities that come from BAME backgrounds, they're a bit concerned from what human rights organisations have cited. I
just really disagree, and I'm from a BAME background myself, and I represent a constituency that is majority non-white. So these are issues that are personal to me, and I tell you what, it's a deprived area that I represent, and crime in Ladywood is too high. I grew up in a very high crime area, and the one thing that everyone I represent, regardless of the colour of their skin, cares most about is making sure that their kids are safe, that they can go out and about their daily business in a safe way. There are no civil liberties if you're basically not safe. If you can't leave your front door, go to your high street and know you're not going to come across someone nicking drinks and foodstuffs from shops. Like, you're not safe, right? Your civil liberties cannot be fully exercised in a society that is high crime, where we're not catching criminals. I think the rollout of live facial recognition is incredibly important. It will help bring criminals to justice. That's what it's designed to do. The only people we're picking up through the use of live facial recognition are people who are on a police watch list. That means that we're already trying to find you because you are alleged to have committed a crime. And of course, all of this evidence, whether it's live facial recognition, whether it's fingerprints or DNA, is tested in a court of law before a defendant is found guilty. And if somebody is found guilty of a crime, and that live facial recognition was used to bring that person to justice, I think that is a good thing. The tech is good. It is accurate. There are always question marks about different technology. When fingerprints were brought out, people were panicking, thinking that was going to curtail civil liberties. The predecessors to Amnesty International would have said this is unacceptable. We shouldn't do it. Today we could never work without fingerprinting in our policing. People have said the same about DNA. They'll say the same about live facial recognition. But I think the case for it is very strong. And I know, regardless of the colour of your skin, people believe in strong policing so that our law-abiding citizens can go about their daily business in safety.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.